get that last no-scope kill and hit pause. It's time for the video game podcast where the Konami code is alive and well. The console wars don't exist. Rings are just as valuable as coins. Pots are not safe from swords. Giant robots kick ass. And fireballs are a perfectly acceptable weapon in a fist fight. That's right, it's time for the Super Gamer Bros Podcast Ultra Hyper Alpha Super EX Double Impact Plus A Live. Settle in and let's get to gaming.
Hey everyone, it's time for Super Gamer Bros. We are live with you guys. Hey guys, how are you?
We're
I'm
good.
adjusting the mic a little bit. Welcome guys to our bi-weekly video game talk show right here on Kaiju Live Media. I'm distracted. I was singing Buster Groove because of Cassandra down there. She's got this background rocking today. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's Naruto from Persona 4 Dance All Night, so it's like it's like a gift of her. I figured out how to finally get green screen going, so like I'm no longer sitting in a green corner that looks like does not make any sense.
So, for those who don't know, I am one of your gamers. I go by Slayton. You can find me on Xbox as Slayton because I pretty much live on my Xbox. It's always on in my house. I may have a problem. And joined with me, as usual, my longtime co-host that I'm super happy to have talk to today, especially about Mortal Kombat, Cynic. You're muted. We can't hear you.
You guys are fucking live.
Woo, we're professionals.
Okay, is that better? Can we hear?
Yes.
We
Okay.
have you.
Okay, there we are. All right, yes, I am Cynic. Hello, and yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have some fun for sure. You said the word Mortal Kombat, so you're gonna have me talking fast and a lot.
And we have our lovely game mistress, Cassandra.
I changed it to Guilty Gear now because the beta is about to happen again, and I'm here and excited because we get to talk about other movies that are based off of this games.
Yeah. And our newest addition, my soon-to-be brother.
Yeah. El Guapo Especial.
I can't say that with a straight face.
Well, which is fine, because that was just your face then.
Sounds
It's
like
gotta
a
be
Jersey brother,
serious.
like something.
You gotta say it for the grovel. Yeah.
I had a rolled R.
Gotta roll the R's, please.
So, the Mortal Kombat movie came out recently, and this is going to be our show where we're not going to talk strictly video games. Well, it is, but video game films. Some of us have been dying to talk about movies. Like, we played for a while, Cynic and I did talk about other things, and we ended up talking more about other things than video game stuff. So, we're like, no, this is a video game show. Let's get back on point. Warning, there will be spoilers if you have not seen Mortal Kombat or any of the movies beforehand, going all the way back to that god-awful
Mario, probably. Is that where we started?
So, let's start.
I need to find out if there was an 80s.
There probably wasn't.
Well, there was the Wizard, but I mean that wasn't
based on a video
That
game.
wasn't based on a game, but it was definitely a gaming movie.
That was a
So-
Nintendo horror machine. That's what that movie
That
was.
was
Yeah.
the entire point was, do you want to play Super Mario Brothers 3? By the way, here is Super Mario Brothers 3. It's a game you didn't know that was coming out.
There you go. It
So let's
was
go ahead
some
press
big
conference
shilling
ever.
for you.
and start with the now. Let's talk about this new Mortal Kombat movie. Cynic,
You just want to
I'm
rip the
gonna give
Band-Aid
you
off. You just want to get it out of the way.
sentences to tell me how you felt about that movie.
Oh,
Just to start with.
Damn.
3 sentences.
Three
No run-on
sentences.
sentences.
3 sentences.
Critically correct sentences.
Just stop. Just stop what you're saying because I know what a sentence is, and I'm pretty sure I can complete 3 in less than 10 minutes regarding Mortal Kombat. So.
I like that
Less
sounds
than
like a
10
physical
minutes.
challenge.
Well, there's a lot of years of content here, but since we're just talking about the movie, I'll say this: it's definitely not perfect. the second movie, this movie, not Annihilation, we'll cut that. That doesn't count as a sentence, by the way. We're leaving that off. So the first one has more charm. This movie is a better movie, not nearly as quotable. I had fun. So how about that?
Yes.
There you go.
Cassandra Shailene. Guapo, sorry. Have y'all seen it?
Yes.
I have not yet, but
I got my
still,
3 sentences. I got my 3 sentences.
All right.
I will
Here's
say this.
Guapo sentences.
Okay.
Okay. First sentence. They did not give Scorpion all his shine, and the dead Scorpion, when he was Scorpion, not when he was Hanzo, they did not give Scorpion all his shine. I did not like that they made the Warrior of Light not Liu Kang, and it was what's his name? With the
Cole?
yeah, no, not
Oh
him.
no, Kung Lao.
Yeah, Kung Lao. I was like, are you serious? You just erase all of history with Mortal Kombat? But I would say, out of where they're going in the direction that they brought the movie, I thought was cool. That's my 3 sentences.
I'll agree with you. Yeah, I could definitely expand on that, but I'll agree with everything you just said.
That's how I feel. I feel like I could expand on it greatly because there were some things about the movie I was just like, how do you start off a movie with Hanzo repping the Shirai Ryu super hard when he's alive, and then when he's dead, you show like one move?
Yeah.
Like how do you like? They're like, this whole time you're like, he's this great warrior that we had to kill to not get prophecy, and this is his bloodline, and this and this. But when you show him as Scorpion, he does a few cool stuff, and you're like, that's it.
I mean, he does breathe fire, which is
he
pretty
does.
bad.
But look what they did with Sub-Zero though. Like they showed everything with Sub-Zero, fatalities.
Yeah.
That's the cool. The thing I really liked about it is that they really gave Sub-Zero his due. Like Sub-Zero has never been a boss character in the games, but as far as all the fans are concerned, Sub-Zero is one. Aside from Scorpion, Sub-Zero is the dude. I'd say at this point, he's not. He was tied with Scorpion and even more popular than Scorpion. He's remained my favorite. Scorpion has definitely gained a lead on him in terms of popularity, but they really took Sub-Zero as a villain, like Bi-Han, the original brother. Yeah. They really truly made him a cold-blooded ass murderer that he is. And
that part was amazing.
They absolutely treated that character with respect that he deserved to be treated with, as the feared assassin final boss character. You know, I loved how they portrayed Sub-Zero. Definitely, they got that right for sure. They could have done a little bit more with Joe Taslim, but they definitely put the money into the effects and the choreography and stuff. And so I think Joe did what he could.
For you, how much of a Mortal Kombat fan are you?
Not nowhere near the level of Cynic. I am a mere Krillin to his Goku.
You haven't seen it yet, so that says it all.
Well, no, I haven't
She
seen
and I
it
are on the same level. We understand Mortal Kombat, but we don't know it the way you two do.
True.
Here's what you need to know, Cassandra.
And I'm okay with that.
The reason I didn't see it was because it's also the weekend that ChupacabraCon was at, and I will arrange my death to be after that con. I will not miss it for the world.
Yeah. So, Cassandra,
but I have a question.
Here's what you need to know, and anyone else who doesn't live and breathe Mortal Kombat. This is a movie for Mortal Kombat fans.
Yes, it is.
Period.
Yes.
It is full of so many Mortal Kombat things, and they don't really explain the setup of the world.
No.
You get one title card about Outer World,
and
Earthworld.
And that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Outworld, Earthrealm, that's it.
Yeah. The whole lore, you really have to understand.
People are trying to invade. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it was super fun, but this is the beginning of what's supposed to be a new trilogy, obviously.
Yeah.
So expect to see things that you may be like, huh? But for someone like Cynic and El Guapo, it's like watching World of Warcraft with Jill and Harley going, "Oh look, there's a Murdoch." Like,
yeah. The World of
there's
Warcraft
plenty of
movie
those.
was pretty good, actually. I would say that like take for instance, there's a moment in there where Kano is fighting Liu Kang. They're training together because they're allies, which was a break from the game world, but a fun one because Kano was actually one of the most fun characters of the whole movie. It surprised me greatly.
Oh yeah.
Kano
That did surprise me. That is surprising. He has the best.
dude,
He has the best one-liners.
stole every scene he was in.
Yeah. every scene.
Easy. And when he was fighting Liu Kang sweep. This is after Cole, our new character, our new created character. He fights Kung Lao, kind of gets his ass whooped. They show some fancy moves. Then Liu Kang fights Kano, and Liu Kang just sweep kicks him.
Yeah.
And then sweep kicks him again, and sweep kicks him a third time. So
and he feints it and then does it again.
Yeah. So they make fun of move spamming, which is not only a fighting game, like just a fighting game.
That's a staple.
That's a staple of fighting games. Period. Like you always hear about the spammers and whatever have you. But that's like the original spam move. Like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, sweeping is definitely one of the most annoying things you can do to your character. That add an uppercutting.
So much damage.
I have a question.
Okay.
Shoot.
What country does the new Warrior of Light come from?
Well, as far as I know, Liu Kang and Kung Lao, they are from China, I want to say. I know.
Did they say what region? Because it's kind of I know why they stopped making Liu Kang the Warrior of Light. If they changed the region that the new hero is from, I know why.
But him and Kung Lao are from the same.
There's not a whole lot of explanation.
Yeah, they don't really go into it. In the original series, the Liu Kang and Kung Lao both came from the White Lotus Society,
and they're cousins.
They're cousins, yeah. And I know for sure Liu Kang is Chinese, and I'm not sure where Kung Lao is from, but they're both part of the White Lotus Society, which is, I think, non-denominational.
Okay, the reason I asked that is because I looked up in Mortal Kombat where the character is from. He is from part of China right now that China is not very happy with. It's the Buddhist area of China. They're the ones that are like spreading like we shouldn't go around murdering our fellow Chinese. He's from that region. So if they moved him over another region, it would explain why all of a sudden Liu Kang's no longer the Hero of Light, because they don't want to piss off China, where a lot of the money is going into. It's not so much a plot reason; it's a.
You could put an effort to kind of make it political, but I mean, the original story was that Kung Lao was actually descended from the Great Kung Lao, and the Great Kung Lao was the original champion of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he was the first champion.
He was the original, and so Mortal Kombat 1 came out. Liu Kang is a descendant of the Great Kung Lao. In Mortal Kombat 2, you actually introduce Kung Lao, who is like even more a descendant of Kung Lao, and is kind of put on a pedestal. He was put on a pedestal, but Liu Kang has actually beaten Shang Tsung. He's won Mortal Kombat in the games, and so Kung Lao was kind of introduced as this person who was on a pedestal, but is being shown up by Liu Kang, and kind of has this. So they kind of have like a little jealousy, kind of rivalry going on. And in the movie, they're shown more just like brothers, though Kung Lao is put on a pedestal, and his ancestor is the Great Kung Lao.
Let's be honest though, they definitely made Liu Kang a milk drinker, because he was like, "How dare you insult the Great Kung Lao?" I'm like, where's the respect in your name? Like, you've been the guy. Like, Kung Lao was like, he was the dude. He was pretty cool. He's pretty good. But everyone was like, Liu Kang, oh shit, you're about to, like, it's about to go down. Now you're just like, I am nothing compared to the Great Kung Lao. I was just like, this scene makes me want to shoot myself.
They did. Liu Kang is a respectful guy, you know. So I give it to him.
He would
we
never
also say in the original.
Well, not nowadays.
Especially in the original Mortal Kombat mythology, because now when they did that reboot, apparently everyone's dead except, like, you know, some kids of characters.
Okay, so overall, we're gonna reel this back into movie talk. This was a fun movie.
Fun movie.
But when it comes to doing video game movies as a general, they're really difficult because there's a lot of expectations. And I do not fault them for what they did trying to adapt a fighting game into a movie. Because there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. There's a lot of storylines, and I think they kind of coherently did it pretty well. I think I argued with Cynic about this.
Probably.
I liked the Dragon Tattoo, finding your Dragon Ball Z power aspect to explain the fighting game stuff.
Yeah, I
that was
mean,
pretty cool.
the only reason I don't like it is for the same reason why I didn't like when Spider-Man had organic web shooters.
Well, that's just fundamentally wrong.
There was
That
there
was fundamentally wrong.
and therefore the Mortal Kombat tattoos giving you powers is also fundamentally wrong, because the whole reason you have your Earth Realmers, the whole reason they have powers is because mostly all the Special Forces people use technology, like Jax and Sonya and all those people, and then everybody else uses mystic magical arts and or ancient training in order to they earn it, and so to be kind of gifted this dragon tattoo. And
I don't know. I didn't really feel like that was the storyline when I was watching. I felt like, hey, you're chosen, but anyone could access their abilities.
Well, it's kind of like you're chosen, but you're not.
Because
I think the only person who could be chosen at this point would be Cole, but he's just part of the bloodline. So you could say the bloodline is chosen.
Yeah,
I guess. So it doesn't really make sense, but the games were like, you're chosen. Why? Because you're a bad motherfucker and Raiden needs you to fight. Okay.
For me, it was kind of like a Green Lantern type vibe, like
it was Green Lantern.
The ring
very
chose
much.
you, but you have to access your true ability. That's what it felt like, because Jax had them little T-Rex arms forever. Then when he really was driven, he was like, "Oh shit, yeah!" And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, when
don't get him started.
When the tattoo, like, I get it, I guess. Like, Cole got his super suit because it grew from the little love bracelet his daughter made him. And Jax got the big arms because he had little arms attached to him, because these Shaolin monks, like, they're great monks.
You mean he got the Black Panther suit?
They can't. Yeah, he got the jank gold Black Panther suit.
Yeah, he got the jank gold Black Panther suit.
I mean, had he been wearing anything else, I don't know what the fuck would have happened. But
I don't like how they made it so easy that he beat who. I was mad.
We're in spoiler territory at this point. I mean, the first person he fought was Goro, original champion of Mortal Kombat, Prince of
Did anybody notice?
And he's a
Goro
jobber.
Had the Incredible Hulk's face.
Yes, I did.
Avengers.
Yes.
I was like, did y'all really just take a model and adapt it for real?
They really kind of copy and pasted it, didn't they?
I was going to make a statement. It was probably just because they probably got Lou Ferrigno to do it. I mean, he'll go there for
no.
You pay him enough, he'll be there for a letter opening.
It was straight up Mark Ruffalo's Hulk from.
I didn't notice it. I did not notice that face.
It just.
I mean, watch it. It looks exactly.
If you watch it, you can make it happen in your head. I'm not going to sit here and shit on the people who worked hard to make that face, but it looks very Hulk-like.
So
now I'm just trying to think of what the Mortal Kombat oath would be, like, to the kickest of butts, to the mightiest of punches.
Yeah.
Fear or might. I don't know. I'm trying to think what the equivalent of the Green Lantern oath would be.
The movie takes a lot of liberties. Which,
yeah.
But it still is one of the better video game movies we've got.
It kind of needs to, and as a movie video game, it needs to constantly keep up an entertaining pace, and then have an end goal. So the only thing I could say I was disappointed in is this is the first really, really high budget Mortal Kombat movie. The others were high-ish for their time, but this one was like in the 100 million range or something, and there was no spine ripping. So I was like, you couldn't get the spine rip in there.
You know what's an interesting thing? One of my close friends, he's loved Mortal Kombat, and he was telling me about how the movie goes with the current agenda for video gaming. How after, I think it was Mortal Kombat 2, it's pretty much been Scorpion and Sub-Zero on the cover. And that's been the main drive. So it's like, and I was like, you're right. I played every Mortal Kombat game, and it's like Scorpion, Sub-Zero. And now they make a movie, and it's predominantly about Scorpion and
Scorpion
Sub-Zero, and it
Sub-Zero.
made
Well,
sense. It
yeah,
just made sense, and I was
it
like,
did.
"Good job, guys. Good job. You did good
It
shit."
really, it really did. The first movie, I mean, I love the first movie. As charming as it is, though, the biggest mistake they had with Scorpion and Sub-Zero were minions at best.
Yeah, and working
And
together, I was like, "Yo." I mean, it was forced.
yeah,
It was forced, but still, it was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So let's
yeah.
transition that to looking at the first Mortal Kombat movies and that series.
I looked at
Comparing
budget
the
for
two,
For the original,
There's
by
a
the way.
massive difference.
"Oh yeah."
There's big difference.
I looked at
but-
the-
I feel Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 explain the world and situations so much better than this movie did.
Well, I mean, Outworld was like in the original when they went to Outworld. You know, Raiden's like, "Sorry guys, I can't enter. You know, bye, good luck." And Johnny Cage and Liu Kang go through a portal. There's this completely dilapidated world. You know, that's like you got stuff on fire and creepy statues everywhere, and then Reptile manages to like ambush them, which was very cool. And you have this Reptile fight before you even get to Shang Tsung and Outworld. Every time they show Outworld in this movie, it was like, here's a generic desert and a bridge.
Here's a rock.
Yeah, there's a bridge and a throne on top of it.
and
and
a
then-
picture of Goro, like a statue of Goro
Yeah,
somewhere.
and then we go to the ground level, and it's also a desert, but with cracks on the ground, and then it looks just like a valley, like a piece of shit valley. There's a bunch of workers around, and then a giant statue of Goro, and you're like, well, that's a cool statue, but why in a desert?
because
Yeah,
you
they
have
did not
to
do
very
Outworld
much
justice
of
here.
Pretty Girl,
No. They did not do
Also-
Outworld justice.
What
Hey,
I do think the new movie did better than the old movie is the old movie, they had to pack as many characters in there for fan service as they could. This one just kind of picked and choose what would make sense. So I think it gave more time for us to like the characters we saw.
Well, I
Um,
actually, to give Paul W.S. Anderson the credit he deserves, we got to give him where he deserves it. So I would say the first Mortal Kombat movie really did do a good job of not packing so many characters in. They really kept it tight to like the original Mortal Kombat characters, so like 7, and then you had like Kitana and Reptile from 2. But that was really it as far as the other characters. But more Annihilation is probably what you're thinking of. Annihilation packed in all the characters, had no idea what to do with them.
Actually, this
Yeah.
recent Mortal Kombat, they brought characters that you'd have to be a fan to
Oh,
understand who even they were. Like the vampire chick, you'd
Yeah.
have to play like old Mortal Kombat games to know who she even was.
Yeah, I was really excited.
Same thing
to
with the
see
guy
her.
with the hammer. They like basically all of Shang Tsung's goons were OGs from like later in the game, like
Yeah.
earlier in the game. 'Cause you got the
Reiko-
hammer guy, yeah,
Mm.
Reiko, and then they had the fucking vampire chick, which
Yeah,
got
Re-
one shotted. That was
Okay, so
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, Reiko was from Mortal Kombat 4, and Nitara was from Deadly Alliance. So Nitara was like 2005, Reiko was like 97, I think.
So it's just
And,
like you
like,
pulled him out. You pulled
you
him
did.
out.
And unfortunately, as excited as I wasn't really excited to see Reiko. Like, Reiko's fine, he's
Yeah.
but I was really excited to see Nitara. And both of those, well, Nitara especially, like, no wonder you pulled out some unknown characters
Yeah.
to people who don't really pay attention to Mortal Kombat.
So before we move
was
on,
hot,
let's
too.
let Cassandra have her thought.
She is beautiful.
Yeah, she was.
So I looked at the thank you. I looked at the budget for the first movie. Any guesses?
I'm sorry, what from the first movie?
The budget.
The budget, I'd say
50
what,
million.
It was
20
100,000.
million?
I'll say 100,000.
The new one is in the 100,000s for sure.
I was talking about the old one, 100,000. Just
No.
100,000.
The old one, I'd
100.
say maybe 20 million,
Gavin?
50 million.
50 for Gavin.
18 million.
Holy
Who was
shit.
closest without going over?
He made that
We
movie.
give it to? Not you,
Mm.
Cynic. It goes to
Obviously, it
Guapo.
was me.
He said 100,000.
I said, I said, I said
$18
20.
budget.
I said 20 million, brother.
It was closest without going over. Price is right
So,
rules.
so it was it was $18 million budget. It was mostly filmed in a quarry in California and a couple other places. That's why you're in those sort of things. In the United States, it made $70 million.
Yeah,
Of course.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
And the soundtrack. I think Who owned this
Mortal
soundtrack?
Kombat.
The soundtrack definitely made that movie in a lot of ways, but that's part of that that's part of that charm that movie had that you just don't replicate.
I love this. One of my favorite songs is Shotgun Mary from that one.
Shotgun Mary. I'd have to.
So,
I'm
We're
remember
going
that
to
one.
steer away from Mortal Kombat now, and let's go back to what I guess we could consider maybe the first video game based movie, the Mario Brothers.
I'm giving it to Mario. Yeah. Now,
it's amazing to see how far we've come since then.
It is, but you know what? Everyone cringes when you say that movie. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, this movie is super entertaining. It's not super good, but it's crazy entertaining.
Also, is it the tiny Goombas going like this in an elevator, or the weird fungus everywhere that looks like the Blob, or how about Baby Raptor Yoshi?
If you took the Mario name away from this movie and it was just its own thing, it would be a acid bath trip. Like it's a batshit crazy movie.
Hold the phone. Oh, Guapo, have you seen this movie?
I
knew it. I can tell by the look on your face. Like
the original Mario Brothers. Oh, it's so worth the watch. Get a little buzzed and sit down and watch that movie and just have a ball.
We can't be friends if you do that.
I think
I will say this. As a film lover, it is not very good. But if you just sit there and play the MSC, like right before you put it on, in the back of your head you hear, in the not so distant, you start hearing mystery, so you hear in the back of your head, you're like, I'm about to roast this movie because it deserves it.
Oh yeah, it can definitely it's definitely a roastable movie. That's part of its charm. It's crazy roastable.
Let me ask you, Guapo, how much do you know about this movie?
I just realized I didn't take my medicine.
We're crashing. We're crashing.
Yeah, I gotta go take my medicine.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I will make a deal with you guys. If we can find a copy of that movie, when he comes down, we will ambush him and make him watch it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That movie's crazy fun.
Apparently, there is a copy in this house somewhere, but Phil doesn't know where it's at.
I don't believe it. I'm sure he's hiding it from you.
No.
It's not streaming? It's not streaming somewhere? I'm surprised if it's not streaming.
Hold on, I'll find out. But I have to say, this movie was also like the movie where I'm like, damn, you guys got an all-star cast, and somehow you had no idea. Like, did you just not want to make a Mario Brothers movie?
From what I understand, like apparently the directors, because I've seen a lot of like behind the scenes and stuff later on, and apparently the directors were really, really hard to work with, and I think it was something like they left part of the way through and someone else had to finish it, and like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were just like hammered trying, like they stayed drunk to just get through it.
Only way you could do that movie.
Yeah, but and that just shows you how pro they are, because like there's so much loud screaming dialogue. Like you can just imagine an actor having to be hammered and going, Mario, get the rock. Why already got the rock? Ah!
Also,
like, ridiculous.
I think this was this before or after Roger Rabbit?
There is
probably after.
I think it was after Roger Rabbit.
Oh, it definitely is. This is
so he went from Roger Rabbit to Mario. I'd be drinking too.
Yeah, I mean Bob Hoskins, I loved him. He was also in the movie Unleashed. But anyway, I was about to get way off track. Don't let me do that. Mario.
Okay. So
Mario. Let's stay there.
Let's jump to
jump.
Okay,
middle 90s. We started getting Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Well,
I call that the era of the horror live action.
Resident Evil and Silent Hill were, I think, early 2000s. I think it was 2000, wasn't it?
So basically, Mario killed everything for a decade.
No.
Well, I think there were a few video game movies in between.
Okay, we're not counting animes because animes actually make it really well.
Okay, 93, you have Super Mario Brothers. Then you have
And-
94, that's Double Dragon. Okay, that's worth killing. Then there's the worst of the whole batch, which is Street Fighter.
Street
That
Fighter.
movie doesn't exist. We're jumping.
Oh no,
That movie does not exist.
It definitely exists.
Does not
Are
exist.
you really pulling a Zangief and telling us to change the channel?
Yes, that movie does not
I'm
exist.
sorry, it may have been the most traumatic moment of your life, but for me, it was a Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Yes.
Nope.
I'm sorry,
Nope.
Raul Julia
Nope.
died because he was carrying that movie.
Nope.
He literally died making that movie.
Well,
It is.
he was dying already, and he literally said, "I just made it because my kids said you got offered a Street Fighter part. Oh, please do it." And he was like, "Okay, for the kids." Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he was also
the
in
future.
that. Okay, hold on. Then there's
You really just don't want to talk about Street
Okay,
Fighter.
not talking about Street Fighter.
So later we're talking about Street Fighter is what we're talking about. Then there's Mortal Kombat, 95. 97 is Annihilation. 99 is Wing Commander, which was good. Then there's Lara Croft and her movie.
Okay, so we'll continue from there. Wing Commander was not going to be a good movie when they had to put the Star Wars trailer before it and make sure everyone knew there were no refunds once the trailer started.
I have to say that
Did that actually happen?
Yes.
They put episode 1's trailer on
The premiere of the trailer.
Premiere of the trailer on Wing Commander. And literally, the joke was you spent $7 to go see a premiere of a trailer, and then you save for the shitty ass movie.
Yeah.
The movie is bad, but it's the same sort of bad as
it was enjoyable. It wasn't.
It was the same level of like Street Fighter. It's bad, but there are genuine moments where you're like, okay, that was kind of cool and funny.
So let's go to Tomb Raider. Ooh, I think those were two excellent movies.
Tomb Raider were solid movies that you didn't have to be a fan to enjoy.
To get. And it kept everything that made Tomb Raider. Warcraft, featuring supernatural elements.
Yep.
That's all you need.
I like that
Unlike
the actor,
Doom, which doesn't understand what you need.
Right, and I like the fact that they got her father to actually say her father.
Yeah.
That was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
I didn't like the second one, but because the second one felt like they were trying to make it more Tomb Raider, is what they describe it, without understanding what made the first movie good or made the series good.
Totally. They're both the same.
Right.
Yeah, they are.
They're totally the same, but they did. The second one just felt like they were trying too hard.
I think the second one they felt they were trying too hard because the sequels always have to try to top the original.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have. Because they made that Tomb Raider reboot movie, which is loosely based on the video game.
Which wasn't bad.
But it's not bad, but it's not really Tomb Raider.
Well, there's a reason why this movie catapulted Angelina Jolie into like super action hero stardom.
That was like perfect casting. I ain't
really,
gonna lie.
It really was. And Angelina Jolie is like, I think that movie really did establish her as a beautiful ass kicking femme fatale. You know, I think that's her first role when she was cast as that, and then after that they're like, oh, this woman is like hot, can kick ass. She can be a femme fatale in any movie now. She can be in Wanted. Like, okay.
Mr. Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Salt is amazing.
Salt is good.
She has about because that bra is like, she's not that big in real life, and she have to hear the stories about her padded bra, like how times that she just demanded the damn thing to be taken off during some of the more warm scenes, because she's like, I'm just dying to this thing.
Yeah, you can imagine.
See, I had forgotten about the Tomb Raider movies. I own them. They're really good.
Yeah,
and that was very redeeming for video game movies. And I think, when I'm thinking about it, that might have been the beginning of the flood that we got afterwards.
You know, the funny thing is when you said the Tomb Raider movie just now during our conversation, I totally forgot that was a movie. And at the time of its release, I definitely remember seeing it, enjoying it, and I didn't consider it a video game movie because, like, it was just Angelina Jolie is Lara Croft, and it's so damn well done. It stood apart on its own completely. So yeah, thank you for reminding.
Also, as a giant red dwarf fan, I mean, come on, the Butler.
Well,
Yeah.
The only thing I ever had against the Tomb Raider movie was Disney was really stupid and put Atlantis up against it. And everyone saw Tomb Raider instead of Atlantis. So that gem of a movie died.
Yeah, I liked Atlantis. Atlantis is solid.
Yeah, but they put that against Tomb Raider.
Then there's Resident Evil.
So yeah, Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil 1 and 2. Video games.
Yes, I agree. 2 especially.
I don't know what they did with these movies. They
let Charlie W. Anderson direct them.
I own them because I like parts of them.
Yeah, there are parts, especially of the first movie and parts of the second one, Apocalypse, that are pretty good. 1 is especially fairly entertaining for a video game-based zombie movie.
Yeah.
They have some legit great moments. First one has a great soundtrack.
I like the fact that it takes place right before the video game does.
Yeah.
I think that was what really drew me to that movie. Was the problem with video game movies is we know the stories, we know what to expect. Give me something new, and I think that's what they tried with Resident Evil. But then they tried to bring in all the characters we know and love.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I like how given that I watched the movies and played the games, it doesn't seem like they didn't have that reach factor. Like, you can tell when a movie is trying to keep up with the game. It's like, it just seemed natural flowing. Even then later when they do the great reveals, and I'm pretty sure everyone has seen it by now, so this spoiler warning. But even when at the very end, when everything's done, it's just like, like, I can go with this. I'm very satisfied with this ending because it's like it flowed well. And on top of that, you got to think about it. Resident Evil also evolved over the years to where it's nowhere near what it used to be on 1. And people are okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the newest Resident Evil, it's about werewolves. So it's like, what?
Right. Well, the funny thing is, I mean, you have werewolves, which I'm sure will be some sort of viral explanation. And then you have Lady Dimitrescu, I think. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. But she's definitely she's basically like a female tyrant. Like, you picture a tyrant, and he's like this 9-foot tall, beastly dude with, a giant claw. And she is like this 9-foot tall behemoth with, claws that grow out of. And I'm like, oh, that's a giant tyrant. That's cool. Yeah. I actually like that because it's kind of
nice dress.
Yeah.
So at least
the best piece of marketing Resident Evil has done in a long time.
have evolved. I think the longer the Resident Evil movies went on, the more they devolved.
Definitely. I mean, the third one started out really like the second one had a pretty satisfying ending. It was basically the end of Resident Evil 2 and 3 kind of combined. You had Carlos and Alice, and you had everyone escape, and that was cool. And then the third movie started off with the virus has infected the planet, and the planet turns to a desert. And I'm like, why does a virus infect a planet? That's not fucking how viruses work, guys.
Same way you hack a planet with your computer, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of vibe with it just because the one thing that I was always taught as a Resident Evil game player and watcher is that there is no such thing as one strand. It always evolves. And that's why they ended where zombies were being able to morph into other things. Because when they first created it was just, oh, we're regular zombies. Now we're zombies that can run really fast. Now we're zombies that can shoot. Like it always gave it that develop. Even in the games, like they show you that it develops and changes on its own and it becomes its own monster. So it's like if it killed a planet, I can roll with it.
Well, that I totally I definitely understand where you're coming from. Oh no, I'm glad he got that thought out before.
His camera decided to.
Well, hopefully we'll figure that out soon. What I was going to say was I definitely agree with the creature aspect of that. It's just when all of a sudden you want to create a Mad Max universe, and so you say a virus infected the Earth. I Oh man, I'm down with all the creatures you can create with this virus. I'm definitely cool with that. But infecting the planet, I'm like, well, where the hell do you go from there? And what are the stakes? Because everyone's dead now, right?
Yeah.
My thing is I didn't mind the virus broke out and then eventually it conquered, everything heavy. Well, we saw both in the movie itself and like in continuity with the game, like shit should look weird. It shouldn't be all desert. It shouldn't like evaporate. Like she says, like how
Yeah.
all the oceans dried up or all the lakes dried up.
Yeah.
The T virus wouldn't dry up a lake. Everything inside the lake would be this horrible, toxic, evil creature that would eat your face first.
Yeah.
Like in 4, like I feel like it was just an excuse to just go, okay, we're filming this in a desert because it's stupidly cheap to do so.
Yeah.
Because think about how much fun it would have been to see like I don't know, part of the United States, like Seattle area, as this overgrown T virus. The trees, like tree ticks, like are the size of cows.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Cooler. But no, Paul W. Anderson wanted to film sheep in Chinese and Chinese deserts.
Hey, can we just stop letting that man make video game movies?
I mean,
I've been promoting that since after 2.
Monster Hunter was a step up.
We're gonna get there.
I know we will. I know we will.
Okay.
So Silent Hill.
But I had to mention it just because we were talking about Paul W.S. Anderson filming a movie in the desert. So it's a trope with him. But we'll get to it. We'll
You have to get to the most important video game movie of all time, because if you hate Paul W. Anderson, then you hate the next director even more. House of the Dead, 2003.
That one doesn't exist either.
Are you trying to tell us that Uwe Boll doesn't exist? Because
that movie doesn't exist.
He'll come.
I love House of the Dead. I love Sega.
Uwe Boll will come and box you if you try to tell him he doesn't exist.
Give a damn.
Wait, can you get a
Street Fighter?
Yes.
We can hear you. We
not
can.
Exist,
We can't see you. Can't hear you. Can't see you. Can hear you.
See you. So you got to.
Yeah, my phone died. I thought it was charging. Apparently not.
Ah.
Okay, so
House of the Dead is really it is honestly important because Uwe Boll, he was already making movies ahead of time. But this is the movie that made him a literal household name. Like this movie
because it was so bad,
in not a good way.
And then he was allowed to make a sequel, by the way. That was a direct-to-TV movie for thing. But yes, Gavin, by the way, you are right because Resident Evil minus Lara Croft's Circle of Life, you go from House of the Dead, then you go Resident Evil to Apocalypse, Alone in the Dark, Doom, Blood Rain, Silent Hill.
Okay,
Blood Rain is
Doom for a second.
Blood Rain is god awful.
Blood Rain is awful.
It's so bad that you burn the set down.
Has 3 elements: Space Marine, Mars, Portal to Hell. I don't know how you fucked that up.
And you have Carl Urban and The Rock. Like,
Okay.
How do you fuck the Doom movie up so much?
I tell you, I don't hate all aspects of the Doom movie.
I like the first-person perspective part. That's it.
All the gaming fans do. I think all of us love that part. I think there are some parts like that where some of the creature stuff is cool. The fact that it's all inspired by Doom 3, which was the newest Doom game at the time, was okay because those creatures designs were badass. You had the dude who got turned into a Mandalorian getting shot meme, being an asshole. That dude was super creepy as always, and I don't understand why he's part of a tactical special ops team. But whatever. You had Gone Girl. I can't remember her name offhand, which I'm sorry.
No.
But you messed it up. I mean, the first thing you did to mess it up was by saying, I remember sitting in the theater and they said, oh, there is a virus, or there was some sort of viral thing going on. And I was like, where's hell? What are you talking about? There's a and as soon as it said, oh, this is a biological strain or something, I checked the fuck out right away. I was
how do you feel about the newer one that came out?
We're not talking about
Uh,
animated anime movies.
No,
No,
this
no.
wasn't.
It's
This
a movie.
this
It's a live action.
there was a female lead, and
And they did hell better. There was an actual portal that they found
Was
to
that
hell.
yeah,
Doom Annihilation?
yes,
Annihilation. Yeah.
yes, that is what it was. I did see
It
it.
was fucking
It is.
awful though.
It
I
is a
watched the whole
movie.
thing. I watched, I
Yeah,
watched the whole fucking thing.
believe it or not, The Rock and Carl Urban Trump Doom Annihilation, which was
Yeah.
just.
Doom
I mean,
Annihilation's fucking awful. It's funny because it
Yeah.
reversed. It's like the Doom movie had better sequences and storyline, but the Annihilation had more
hell.
fact in comparison. Yeah, so it's just like like you couldn't just take some of the Doom movie
Yeah.
and add the parts that we wanted. You had to just completely go the opposite way.
I think it's because Resident Evil had already come out, and there was such success with creating of monsters with a virus that they were like, Doom, we can do that.
Let's do it.
And so,
I think-
yeah.
I think it also keeps you safe from. This is also the point where again China and a couple other countries think. So if you start getting into like, oh, this is a representation of what hell is like, or in religious aspects, and you get blocked in certain countries, including like.
I think this was before the China was a consideration for Hollywood movies.
Oh, I think so, for sure. There might have been a problem with America being very religious, and so I don't know if I think that totally would have been a decision that we made to keep American religious audiences in their seat. But I mean, Doom is one of the most popular video games of all time. Bill Gates was going to put it in Windows. It was going to be installed alongside fucking Minesweeper, along with every Windows platform. Like, it was that popular. Bill Gates almost literally did that.
He did buy Doom. He bought
Yes.
the rights to do on Doom 1.
He definitely did, and it was unbelievably popular. So I don't think I think this was just a bad decision made by scared execs. If you had given me some hell, that would have doubled the points for that movie for me. It still wouldn't have been perfect, but yeah, you could have gotten a lot more done with hell than you could have with this biological. I don't know.
So,
one
we have about
superior
10 minutes
race.
left.
Mm.
Let's see how many we can get through, because we can always continue this in the next show.
This could be a podcast in and of itself.
Okay, so I did all the way up to Silent Hill 2006.
Let's talk about Silent Hill, and we're
Silent
going
Hill.
to stop there, and we're going to pick up next time with part 2.
Okay.
Because it isn't exactly fair. I say no animated movies.
Yeah.
But
This is the live action Silent Hill movie.
yeah, Silent Hill. Silent Hill is one of those ones that I was really excited for because I love Silent Hill. Up to part 2, maybe 3. After that, it kind of goes in the territory. I'm like, really? Which seems to happen to all these games.
Sounds like you don't really like Silent Hill the series at all, except for the first and second one.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
was the room with the room? Was
Room
that 3 or
The room was 4.
3.
Okay, so
No, 4.
I liked 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Because that's still Silent Hill. You also have to note, in Cynic's case, this is the era that Konami was still caring about their games.
Yeah. So the movie.
I'll give that to you. They definitely still cared.
Yeah, after 3, things just seemed to go really crazy. So I like what they did with the movie, and I know a lot of hardcore Silent Hill fans do not like this movie.
I'll be
And I consider
perfectly
myself
yes.
verging hardcore, but I really like these 2 movies a lot. I think they nailed the siren, the transition down, the creepiness of being in Silent Hill. I think they nailed all of that perfectly. And the fact that they had the locations from the first game in the first movie just did it for me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Silent Hill, alongside Mortal Kombat, is up there with, I think, if I had to rank the best video game movies, I'd say it's right up there with Mortal Kombat. Silent Hill is one of my absolute favorite video game movies. It is faithful to the game in a way that's it's faithful to the game in that it creates the same mood of the game without having to follow the game step by step. It's extremely well done. and the creatures are all very cool. You have your moments with like Pyramid Head and some of the creepy leeches and the nurses and
That thing in the bathroom.
Yeah, the thing in the bathroom was just
I double
super
dog dare
disturbing.
you.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, oh, I can break my back and touch my ass. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I have 3 major problems with that movie.
Okay.
First off, it was supposed to be a father looking for the daughter. It was a father-daughter relationship, and him supposed to be desperately looking for a daughter. The fact that they got rid of the father and making it the mother instead kind of takes away that kind of relationship because it was supposed to be later on. Because they, for some reason, kept that relationship in 2, where it's like, why would she care about her dad? Her mom was the one who went after her.
Well, Cassandra, really quick.
Yeah.
It was a different story they told from the video game to the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it works.
But
Yeah,
I like that it was with Henry looking for his daughter and being that striving father who literally goes through hell to get to find his daughter, which is such a great story. And particularly like how it played out. And the other 2 problems I had is Pyramid Head and the nurses showing up made no sense to me. Because
Did
Pyramid
you play
Head
the original Silent Hill games?
Yes, Silent Hill 1. Pyramid Head's not in it.
Yeah,
He's not in it.
But
But
that's
he
still
became an
a-
icon.
yeah,
Right.
he's definitely a Silent Hill
He
icon.
was there.
for
We
sure.
just didn't run into him.
No, he's not. The judgment for Silent Hill 1 is that creature in the wheelchair with 1 arm. It's like dragging itself along. And that thing, if that thing
Yes.
would have been in the movie, that would have been fucking creepy.
But Pyramid Head could have been walking around the other side of town shopping at Macy's. We don't know.
Judgment. It's supposed to look like underneath the mask, he's you.
Well,
In the game, you remove the mask. It's
I think I think when you look at a movie like this, you take what you can that's recognizable from the games, and then you create your own mood using movie story elements that you can. And I think they just did a badass job of it. I think they didn't overcram it with creatures that are too many unrecognizable creatures. Like, it didn't feel overstuffed. You had a story that all led towards Alessa and her burning, and if it was like the devil possessing her, or her vengeance. They didn't really explain it exactly how she gets her revenge and what creates the rotting portal blackness to Silent Hills up. I want to say Silent Hills upside down. They don't really.
And that was the other thing that I didn't like. It was that it was her revenge. In the games, they make it very clear. It's not her revenge. This is her nightmare. This is what you're living through because this is what she lives through. It's not revenge, which for me is a better villain because she is Bahamut's the villain. She's not. She's just she is the access of the malice that you're experiencing because it's the malice.
But the thing is Alessa was never the villain per se. Right. The people who burned her to death and set the entire city on fire and set the mine underneath on fire, those were definitely the villains. Yeah. So I think it was less about revenge and more about
judgment,
comeuppance on a biblical proportion. Because when you see her finally get her revenge, she doesn't look angry. I mean, she's totally burned and whatever have you, but her face doesn't look angry. It's very passive as she goes through and murders everybody with barbed wire. If you hadn't seen it,
it's also probably burned every muscle in her face. So like she really has to show expression. She's just like.
There is that, exactly, but it's very the optics of it are very zen,
I'll give you that.
I think
being a smart ass.
I mean, I agree with.
But before you pointed it out, I was definitely thinking the same thing, and I'm very happy you pointed that out.
I agree with Cassandra's point, and the stories of the games were a little different than what they portrayed in the movie. But I always took Silent Hill as personal hells. Depending on who's there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the Hellmouth and Buffy. You're stuck there. It's this whatever it is. It's your personal hell.
It's your judgment. Everything about Silent Hill is your judgment. That's why in 1 it was Elizabeth. It was the girl trying to get her way out of it. And 2, it's Henry dealing with the death of his wife. And then I'm going to ruin the second game because it doesn't matter. In the second game, the true ending is James finds out he murdered his wife, and he made himself forget. That's why the water ending is bullshit, because you get to the end of the game, and James drowns himself in his own car. He drives himself off a bridge. It's bullshit.
And also, Silent Hill's one of those very psychological story games that don't exactly portray on screen very well.
It's kind of very open. It's very artistic in a way that other video games aren't, and it's very open to interpretation to a degree. Like, you have solid explanations for a lot of things, but then a few elements of things, even if you explain them well, are kind of left open to interpretation. I also thought the first movie was very somber in that you had this kind of happy ending, but you're kind of under the impression that to get to Silent Hill in the first place, to where the bulk of the movie takes place, isn't just another dimension. It's kind of purgatory, like you're dead already. And so I think it had a very somber tone, especially at the end with that, and especially since the characters who get out of Silent Hill don't seem to know it. And so you're not sure if it's another dimension. You're not sure if it's purgatory, if they're dead. Like, you don't know. It doesn't explain it to you. It just leaves you wondering and thinking. Like, it just gave you a pretty satisfying ending with Alessa's revenge. And then you kind of escape to this unknown. And it's kind of, it takes you aback. Like, it gives you time to breathe and think and go, damn. Like, it does it in a very, very good way. I watched that movie in the theater with my friend Ty, and man, we walked out of there like cheering. That movie was amazing.
I would say, if you want to watch the best Silent Hill movie, you watch Jacob's Ladder, which is what Silent Hill is based off of.
There you go.
We're going to end our movie talk here. Next episode in 2 weeks, we're going to pick up from here and move our way all the way to Mortal Kombat today. And we'll talk about some animated movies and what video game movies we want to see.
Street Fighter.
Want to know why? Yeah.
We're gonna dedicate the next episode entirely to Street Fighter.
No, we're not.
That
movie doesn't exist.
So just as a taste of next week, the first movie we'll be talking about is DOA.
Oh. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
So
I like it. So we'll talk about it. I like bad movies, folks.
I'm gonna be honest. It was surprising how milquetoast you can make a movie about a game about giant tits.
Boobs.
And you throw Kevin Nash in there for good measure as Bass, and
I'm wearing less clothes than the females in that movie.
Yeah, which Liu Kang makes an appearance in there. Robin Shu from Mortal Kombat makes an appearance in Dead or Alive as a.
All right.
Yeah.
Catch us in 30 minutes. You can see Cynic, Cassandra, and I playing Second Extinction on our Twitch. And I'm pretty sure El Guapo's going to be playing something on his.
COD.
He's all, I would play COD.
Cold War all day.
Yeah. We know it.
So, you guys, thanks for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. On this show, we'll see you in 30 minutes over on Twitch. I
might be a little longer because I need to do some stuff, but I'll be there shortly afterwards.
Okay, well, we'll start at 9. You can join us when you're ready.
Yeah. I just gotta get laundry and stuff ready for tomorrow because I have to be working in the morning.
Does it take you 30 minutes to do laundry?
Well, I also may have to use the bathroom. I literally got off work at 6:30 and came right home.
You can tell us. You can tell us all this after the show.
Well, it takes you 30 minutes. I have other shit to do.
Gavin, you started this. I blame you.
No, El Guapo started before we were on the show. He's like, I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? What's going on?
Yeah. You don't bring his name into this.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Into this drama.
We'll be back on in 30 minutes, and we'll be back to talk movies in 2 weeks.